Welcome. The most disappointing news which we are seeing from last 1 month in the state of Andhra Pradesh and as well as across the country regarding scams, education scams. There are two things which never will be scammed and should not be scammed. And we need to avoid scams at least in this sector, like health sector and education sector. Unfortunately, these two sectors became more scam sectors. So shame on India and shame on education system. It's very shame on us. CBSE scam. Why there is a lot of hue and cry CBSE scam? Why there are paper leaks? Why there is NEET exam cancelled? So these are all. Don't we feel shame of at least in the education sector you need to be honest, and at least in the medical sector you need to be honest, right? So sad thing. In Andhra Pradesh also there is one controversy going on. Of course the government is denying, but opposition continuously attacking on them. The scam allegation of Andhra Pradesh DSC, Teachers Recruitment 2025, the opposition party YSRCP is alleging that there is a scam in the DSC 2025. Some of the opposition leaders, they alleged that the teacher recruitment process is not fair enough. There were allegations of question paper leakages, and there were direct allegations by the political opposition leaders that the question paper was sold for 15 lakhs. Or job, it may not be question paper, at least in the, it's not exactly the question paper. They were releasing that 15 lakhs per job they sold in the sports quota. That was the allegations by the opposition leaders, opposition political party. If you look at even earlier allegations against this Andhra Pradesh teachers recruitment process, if you look at question paper leak allegations, some candidates and social media users claimed that DSC question papers were leaked before the exam. Exams were conducted, but the government is saying that exams were conducted through the TCS, ion computer-based testing system. So they're releasing, allegations are denied by the government. They're saying that the different sessions and questions drawn randomly from a large question bank. And they're also releasing that the officials stated that no official complaint or evidence was proved, and the leak complaint we did not receive. That's what government is saying, but there were hue and cry by the opposition parties. They were releasing the audio leakages. They're releasing that the question papers, there was some irregularities in the DSC 2025. Earlier also, the students or the candidates, they opposed a normalization process concern because the different question papers for a different shift. Because of some students who wrote in different shift, they alleged that the question paper for this shift is harder than the other shift. Then obviously there will be marks difference, right? When there is a marks difference, then how do they get the justice? This is a big issue. And eligibility rules dispute was also there earlier. Some CBSE students, they challenged DSC eligibility conditions in the court. They fought in the court. They studied Telugu language as a second language too. And they said you should not exclude us from certain Telugu medium teaching posts. They said that we studied a second language Telugu, so you should give us eligibility for a teacher post, Telugu teacher post. So that controversy. So transparency, data manipulation, allegations, marks were altered, candidates' data was deleted, manipulated online, merit lists were not transparent. These kind of allegations are made by YSRCP online. Even though the government is saying that answer keys are normalized process, scores, merit list, everything we published online. So candidate details were made available for verification. So officials, they're denying all these allegations, but the YSRCP is making hue and cry in the social media that there was some kind of speculations about scam in the DSC 2025. The recruitment rules and reservation issues were also under discussion, like reservation implementation, eligibility criteria, selection rules, recruitment procedures, and everything was a concern. Exam schedule and system objections. Some organizations that demanded postponement of the DSC examination, they argued that the revised system was too complex. Candidates needed more preparation time. So the recruitment process should be rationalized. All these demands came from the candidates before the exam itself. But Andhra Pradesh government, they filled 16,347 posts in Mega DSC 2025 in the name of Mega DSC, even though it is not Mega DSC, because out of them, the replacement of the contract employees around 4,000 and 6,000, previous government notification around 6,000 they added, and they named it as a Mega DSC, and then somewhat they issued the notification. But why these scams? Forget about Andhra Pradesh. What about the CBSE scam in the national level? Why there is a wrong answer sheets uploaded? Why there was a big hue and cry online across the country about this by the CBSE students and their parents? Why there was answer sheet mix-ups? Reports indicated that around 20 answer sheet mixed-up cases were detected during the rollout of the new digital evaluation sheet. 80,000 students, they applied for re-evaluation. Remember, it's a history. 80,000 students applied for re-evaluation of CBSE marks. Why there are blurred or incomplete scans? Why incorrect marking allegations? Why the marks were given differently? Why portal crashes and technical problems? Why cyber security concerns? Tender and procurement eligibility allegations, irregularity allegations, political allegations. There's so many allegations around the education system. NEET, we know that the NEET exam cancelled. They're going to write again rewrite the exam, because we know that the NEET paper leak, and we know multiple candidates were arrested even. So who is responsible for all these scams in the education sector? So sad thing is this. There were allegations in the scams in the election system. So somewhat it doesn't affect, it affects only the leaders who will be elected in the elections. It doesn't affect if there are allegations on the democratic election system. Even though that's a crime, it's a anti-national, it is against the national integrity, election system manipulation, but somewhat it doesn't affect the students, doesn't affect the direct employment, ground level people, it doesn't affect, it only affects who will rule election system manipulation. But manipulations and scams in the education sector directly affects the crores of unemployed youth. Water list deletions, mass detection, through Form 7, mass deletions, and there are Maharashtra voter roll irregularities were exposed and released by the opposition leader. Duplicate voter list was exposed, and the EPSC numbers were, there were irregularities and exposed by the opposition leader, opposition parties, vote chori allegations by the opposition parties, EVM, VVP transparency, released disproportionate impact in certain communities, SIR. There's so many things came. That's okay. These are all related to the election system. But what is this education system, employment? These allegations, nobody will accept this kind of irregularities in the system, and there should be strict laws, strict rules if anybody involves in these kind of scams. Unfortunate that this freely they are doing everything, these kind of scams in our education system. So unfortunate. Thank you.